All right. Hello. I am going to try to experiment with showing a video. Still didn't get around with getting with my help to show me how to do it, but I did it once before. And I'm going to try it again. Let's see if this works. See if I can do something different. Hold on, you all. I'm going to make this work. All right, let's try that again. Okay, please let me know if you could see that. Let me know what you could see. Could you see me? Could you see the video? Neither, both? Please let me know so I'll know. Because what I'd like to do is I have this little intro, and I know it really looks complicated the way they're telling me to try to play my little intro. I'm not sure. I'm gonna get my a cousin, which helps me to do that right. I was really nervous. So let's see what you say in there. I saw it all, and you as well. Okay. Yes, I could see and hear it was beautiful. Yeah, that's that. And actually, I was down there in the water. We had when I went to Costa Rica. That time, I think we had no. That's the time we had 13 people. I had 13 people with me. Anyway, one of the guys does drone. He operates a drone, so he did that video, and I actually commissioned the music for that because he had another song in there, and you guys know you can't play other folks' songs. So I have a guy, a young man at my church that helps do beats. So I kind of told him what sound I wanted, and he did that. So did you see me and the video at the same time, or when I switched over to the video, it only showed the video until I came back. Let me know so I'll know. Okay. Because one of them says I saw it and you as well. And I'm trying to figure out could you see me at the same time as the video was going or not? That's what I'm trying to determine before we get to all of our good stories. I'm doing well. I'm so nervous with this. Tasha Mack, I don't know. That's, my Achilles heel is technology. It seems like when I'm given instructions as to how to do stuff, the reason I get nervous is because I've followed things before to the T and it still didn't work. And that's when it just, but anyway, okay. Okay, so it looks like you can see both. Maybe I was in a small frame. You could see at the same time that the video was playing. So maybe I was in a small frame. Okay, so that's good. At least I'm trying. Okay, so I'm going to switch over. I've got a few stories to talk about, and then I've got some instruction. First of all, a lot has happened in the news this week concerning everything, but specifically concerning finances. I've been trying to keep up to let you know things. The first thing that I want to bring up, I did a video last week telling you all that the beneficial ownership information form didn't need to be filled out anymore because one of the district court judges in Texas put an injunction against it, said it was unconstitutional, and that we didn't need to fill it out. And everybody was cheering. And I was saying, okay, well, we're going to continue to watch it. Almost immediately, the Department of the Treasury put in, a rebuttal to that. So it still up in the air. It hasn't been answered. I'm going to keep on top of it. I'm still not doing it because I do believe that it's unconstitutional. It's an overreach. It's a serious overreach of their so-called authority. And they've been doing this for a while, all the way back starting in 2020. And you all know what I'm talking about. So I was bobbing to the beat. Now I know I was bobbing to the beat because that's my song. I turn my music up in my car real loud sometimes with my windows closed because I'm not one of those that has the windows down and has everybody listening to whatever I'm listening to, because I don't want to listen to what I end up having to roll my windows up a lot of times because people, want to have their windows down blasting their music. And sometimes it's profanity. And then I have my granddaughter with me. And anyway, so the beneficial owner, the BOI, the beneficial owner information form that FinCEN has been threatening people about filling out and making sure that you fill it out before January 1st, or you'll have this $10,000 fine and a $500. All of that right now is off the table. I don't know whether it's coming back or not, but I don't think it's going to be able to float back in here prior to the end of the year. There are other states that have lawsuits out against this thing. So I'm thinking that it may make it all the way up to the Supreme Court. Now, I'm not telling you not to do it. I've seen people in different comment sections saying that they're going to do it anyway because they're scared of a $10,000 fine. And I wouldn't be, because it's so much back and forth. They wouldn't be able to hold to that. And it's too many of us. They wouldn't be able to hold to it because one thing is saying yes, one is saying no. There's not a consensus at this point. And I don't know when there will be. I'm praying that it'll be a consensus of no, we're not filling this thing out. I'm not telling you not to do it. If you want to go ahead and do it for whatever reason, you can go ahead and give those people your name, address, your slave surveillance number. They want a copy of your driver's license or any state ID, all of that stuff. It's just an overreach. Anyway, so just be aware that it has been challenged. The district court judge in Texas said no for the whole country, and the Department of Treasury has challenged that. I'm not surprised. So let me see if there are any questions about that story before I move on to the next story. Okay, good. You saw me in a frame in the lower right-hand corner. Excellent. Now I know what you see, and I kind of know how to share a video. So yeah, it's too much info. They don't need to, they already have enough information on us. I mean, even FinCEN could go to the IRS and get our names and addresses and those social security numbers, what I call slave surveillance numbers, they can go to the IRS and get that stuff. They're claiming, and some people are defending them. They're claiming that they're going after the money launderers and all that other stuff like that. And just like I said before, if you can find somebody in a cave in Afghanistan and unalive them with the drone, you can find the ones who are money laundering and leave us alone. Anyway, so that's the story on that one. I will keep you posted. You know, I'm making sure that I keep up with this so that if they do bring it back, then you all say, well, I'm gonna do it, I'm not gonna do it, whatever. The next story. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate everybody that supports the channel. I'm on here. I spend time trying to find stories that are going to help us with our finances. Everybody has their different thing. People talk about whatever's going on with the entertainers and the athletes and all that. I want to make sure that you all have a chance to thrive instead of just surviving every day. And for those of you that are new, my theme for 2025 is let's thrive in 2025. And that's what I aim to do. And that's what I aim to help you do. Our next story is about the wild pardoning that is going on. I think I mentioned last time that the president has officially pardoned his son of all of the stuff that he did, including the taxes. And I'm asking, like, where's my pardon? Anyway, it's another story. I was thinking about sending out a petition for the incoming president to pardon or commute or whatever you do to get rid of, expunge or whatever, because this is too much. I got a 4-year sentence on a misdemeanor charge, and I spent 3 years in federal prison on a misdemeanor charge. And this is what we get, with Hunter Biden. Anyway, now they are trying to do a preemptive pardon for Fauci. Have you all heard that? Put a 1 in the chat if you had already heard that they are trying to do a preemptive pardon for Fauci. I've never heard of a preemptive pardon. I know what it is now. It's like, we know that you're going after him as soon as that transition is made on the 21st of January. Rand Paul was licking his chops trying to get to Fauci, because all of that going back and forth with those congressional hearings where Rand Paul was asking him, were you using gain of function and all this other stuff? And he's no. And there's a big report. It's 520 pages, and we'll talk about that on Tuesday. One of the subcommittees in Congress has come out with a 520-page report on what really happened in 2020 and 2021, which solidifies the fact that Fauci was lying. And now they're talking about giving him a preemptive pardon. I don't know about you guys, but it makes me feel like we the people, we work hard, and they take money out of our checks and they do all these things, and they get away with whatever they want to get away with. And if he hasn't even been charged yet, you all. And from what I understand, he's not the only one that they're thinking about giving a preemptive pardon. So it's like, okay, all of these people who were complicit in the chaos that happened to us in our lives in 2020, 2021 and beyond, because a lot of people like myself, during the Trump years, I was doing really good, and then that came on 2020 came on, and everything just kind of said, a lot of people like that. So you upended our lives, you gave false information, and the COVID is shown to be, it was shown that 98 point something percent of the people who got the virus survived. And our lives were upended because of this. So now you're going to give preemptive pardons to people. Lawlessness. I call it lawlessness, and it makes me upset. Now, I channel my negative energy in different ways, trying to do positive things. But I can see why the people out in the streets are just so angry and they're taking it out on wherever they can take it out. One of the things that I see, and I think I might have mentioned this a long time ago, is with the driving. It's gotten so much worse that when I'm at a red light, when my light turns green for me to go, I'm looking both ways because people are flying through the through the red light. Two, three, four people. Tell me in the chat where you live if this is happening. Say yes and put your city if the same thing is happening. I'm in Metro Atlanta. I live in Stone Mountain, Georgia, which is about 15 miles east of downtown. Everywhere I go, every light I'm at, whether I'm first or somewhere in the back, when the light turns green for us to go forward, there's still people flying through. There are so many different things that I'm seeing. I'm seeing people in two lanes, like on a two-lane road, where and then if you can picture this, you have a two-lane road, and every so often to the far left, you have a turning lane so somebody can turn left on a street. What's happening now is people are coming up and the light is red and you've got the two lanes that are stopped, and you also have the left turn person that is stopped. When that arrow turns for the left person, when that arrow comes on for the left turn person to turn left, they don't turn left. They shoot around in front of the other two and go straight. That's another thing I'm saying. We have to be super careful because people are changing, their mindsets are changing, they're angry, and people take out their anger in a different way. Now, some of you may remember a book, and I think there was a woman that wrote a book, and I think it might have had something to do with her thesis or her dissertation in school, but she said that the book proved that the more oppressive the taxes were, the more violent crime. And I really believe it. I really believe that. But going back to this preemptive pardoning stuff, in my mind, I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing, because God will take care of them people. They're not going to get away with it. So I'm going to go in the chat to see. Okay, Fauci is leaving his job at the end. He better leave the country. He better leave the country. Okay, so it's happening in Milwaukee. Shifting Pelosi. Pelosi, was it her that had some kind of an accident today in Luxembourg? What is she doing in Luxembourg? It's supposed to be an official with all the money that she has. How many of you know that Luxembourg is a place where people take their finances when they want to keep them private? She's over in Luxembourg and she had some kind of accident. Anyway, no story. Okay. Yes. Okay, Cheryl, we're in the same city. Okay. Oh yes, Spartanburg is awful. They're driving like maniacs. It's lawlessness in Massachusetts. I thought it was just us, the root. No, it's not. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And I don't know whether they got some kind of challenge going on some social media, but this thing of getting in the left lane, acting like you're going to turn left, and when the left turn light comes on, you shoot around and go in front of everybody else. That's very dangerous. I've seen people that were, the light was red and the car next to the car on the right just turned in front of them because they wanted to go right. I've seen that. It's just be careful out there, especially during this season when a lot of people are running around spending their money on conspicuous consumption. Okay. I'm retired. Only go out during the day. Dangerous. Yes. And a lot of people that are retired, they used to be able to in Atlanta pick certain hours to go out where there was no traffic. Like I'm at home. I don't like traffic. So if I have an appointment, I'll set it between, I used to, and I still do, but I used to be sure to set it between 10 and 2. Because if I left, 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then I got home, got out of the appointment before 2, whatever the appointment was, and I would miss the traffic. No more. It's traffic 24/7 around here. Well, put it like this. I don't go out at night either that much, but during the day, it doesn't matter. It's like lunchtime is not just the time that it's busy. It's busy at 10 o'clock. It's busy at 2 o'clock. So, okay. Somebody said Nancy Pelosi is hiding over there. And I don't condone violence, of course, but as bad as things are getting and as blatant as these people are being in carrying out their dirt, it just wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised Dallas Fort Worth area is awful. It's happening everywhere. Okay. All right. All the love from Michigan. All right. My home state. I'm originally from Detroit. I've seen people shoot around the city. Oh, really? Yes, around the city bus, and that they do stuff like that. So that's the second story. This whole preemptive pardon stuff is really wild. I've never heard of this. I don't think it's ever been used, and it's just nuts. The next story that I wanted to talk about, as far as economics, there are a lot of stores, especially the retail stores, that are closing a lot of their stores, and some of them are going bankrupt. And I'm hoping that none of you really are affected by this. I know Macy's is one of them. They plan on closing 150 underperforming stores, 50 or so this year. After, I'm sorry, not this year, after their fiscal year end. So usually stores, we as people normally have our year end at December 31st, but stores have theirs at February 28th because they have all the sales for the holidays, and then they have to have time for the people to return the stuff. And so by next March 1st, they're gonna close a whole bunch of stores at Macy's. Another one is GameStop. I don't play video games, but what it says about GameStop is they have 4,000 locations and they plan to close stores as net sales dropped 20%. Just last year, the company shut down 300 stores, with another 287 closed in March of 2024. So that's a lot. So last year they did 300. This year so far they've done 200 and 287. Despite generating income, the company operations have continued to decline. I don't know whether that means that people aren't looking at, I mean, playing the video games much anymore. I don't know what, I'm hoping that that's the case because again, that's one of those electronic income reducers where you spend a whole bunch of time playing games and making somebody else rich, the person who made the game, and then you're not planning for your future. So that one. And then also the other one was Party City. So it says they have 850 stores. And I like Party City. I used to go there, when my children were young, especially, and get all the little party stuff. But they have 850 stores across the nation, and they're considering filing for bankruptcy. So they've been faced with the possibility of mass closures just a little over a year. And they just got out of Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which is reorganization. So a lot of people, first of all, during the COVID situation, a lot of people ended up spending a lot of time learning how and buying stuff online. So, Amazon and all the foodie ones, I think I used it one time. They have people have gotten used to buying stuff online and getting these packages and stuff. So that really hurt the retail stores just like it hurt us individually. But, I don't know how many other stores are closing. I did hear a report maybe about 6 months ago, and it had, at least 20, uh, maybe even 2 dozen stores that were closing and or, just severely cutting their their businesses, especially in the retail area. So just watch out for that. And if you work in retail, you might want to do what I say, start a home-based business on the side. I was talking to somebody today about, and they have a six-figure job, and they were talking about someone that they know in another department got laid off. And all I had to say was, that's why even the six-figure people need to be going to get something that they're doing on the side. So I'm going to check the chat again. I've seen people are buying on the console. They're buying the games. Okay, so they are buying games. So I don't know what GameStop is. Is it like maybe it's a rental place? I don't know. So I don't know whether they sell games, rent them, or both. More unemployed consumers. More, and Brand J, more unemployed consumers. That is very profound. We used to be, back in the day, the US was a major supplier, but now we are major consumers. And believe me when I say it's all by design. Tasha May, they don't have the need to get the game in their hands to download if they could buy it on their PS5. Okay, I see. So they don't need a retail store for it. They must be able to download some of this stuff online or something to that effect. Like we download certain applications online. Okay. Yeah, and maybe the GameStop and these others are going the way of, remember Blockbuster, you all, where we used to go rent a movie and then make sure we get it back by Sunday night. Oh my gosh, yes. Some of you might even be too young for that. So the next story that I have is also concerning employment. So I read a story that said 23 states will raise the minimum wage in 2025. So I was like, wow, 23 states. It says, and that's a move some experts warn could drive up prices. Of course, it'll drive up prices. And I think that it's going to close some businesses. So on January 1st of 2025, Illinois, Delaware, and Rhode Island, along with 48 cities and other counties, will set their minimum wage to $15 or higher for the first time. They'll join 7 other states already at that level. I'm sure California is one of them. The highest minimum wage will be in Burien, Washington State, where the rate is in the town will jump from $16.28 an hour to $21.16 an hour. So these people, whatever they're doing, and working in McDonald's or some other restaurant, or they're helping out at the grocery store, working at a grocery store, they're going to be making $21.16 an hour. You have to keep in mind that the cost of living in some of these states is so much more than others. Like Georgia, I don't think our cost of living is that much compared to like places like Washington and California. So $21.16 would likely be really decent for someone here, but not in Washington State. So that $21.16 is for all companies that have over 500 workers. Experts caution that these wage hikes could strain retailers and restaurants. Last year, California, which we just discussed, fast food wage increase led to several closures. So some companies are going to see their bottom line tightened up, and some of them are going to close some of their locations, and some of them are going to have to close altogether. So I saw a video about the people in California cheering when they went up to $15 for the minimum wage. And this was some time ago, maybe 2 years ago. And somebody juxtaposed that video with the aftermath of that increase in the minimum wage, where so many people lost their jobs and some of the smaller restaurants had to close. So, that's an unfortunate thing, but it's what's happening. I'm going to jump to the next one, this is the last one that has to do with employment. I watched the video yesterday and I learned about something that I had not heard about before. So I listened to 3 different people say that, they've been looking for jobs for 6 months, 8 months, a year, and they finally found a job. And they went in and they of course, had filled out the application. They went through the interview process. One of the young ladies even said that the job that she applied for took her through a background check. She had to have a background check. So she went to the local police department, got a background check, all these things. And she turned in the paperwork as did the rest of them. And she asked them, is there anything else that I need to do? So she's waiting to hear from them. And all 3 of these people said that they never heard back from, I take that back. 2 of them said they never heard back. And one of them, that one that did the background check and everything. So she called the recruiter, and it was a recruiter. And she said, the lady said, oh, they decided to go with somebody else. And I was confused. I'd never heard of this ghosting of employers. Then somebody brought up the fact that some of these aren't really employers. They might be scammers. So someone's setting up as if they're hiring people, and you're filling out an application, you're giving them, because they know that a lot of people out there are desperate for jobs. So you're giving them all of your information, your address, your social security number, and getting a background check and all this stuff. and they're not really a real employer. So I want you guys to watch out and tell your friends and relatives to watch out for that. If you know somebody that is actually looking for a job, they need to make sure that this it's number one, it's a legitimate company, and number two, that it's really the company that's hiring and not some person that is posing as a recruiter, but they're really not recruiting for this company. They're just out there in some kind of a scam. And with the stories that I saw yesterday, I'm not sure because they didn't really get into that. I was just puzzled because I'd never heard of that before. So people are running into this situation where they're filling out this application, they're going through these interviews on Zoom and all this. Now, these interviews are on Zoom. Are these legitimate companies that are, just interviewing? Let's say if they have two positions and they do this blitz of interviewing 50 people, and then a couple of them, they say we really like these, but then a couple more come through and they say, oh, we like these better, and then they just ghost the ones that they told they have a job. Now, in all these cases that I saw on the story yesterday, these people said, they said, I have a job. That last lady that did the background check, she even had a letter, an acceptance letter. So the question is, are these legitimate businesses or are these scammers? So be aware of that, because I wasn't aware that this was going on. So I'm going to go through the chat and see what we have. Blockbuster. Okay. So ears to hear, eyes to see, truth and vlog says I freeze my credit report until I'm doing something like getting insurance for those to see. And I actually do the same thing. My credit report is frozen with all of those agencies. And it is a bother when I get ready to, maybe do something that I need to do, to have to go and either call and put in a special code and unlock it. And one time I unlocked it for like 3 days, and then they told me that wasn't enough time. And I'm thinking, why isn't it enough time? So I had to go back and unrelock. It is a bother, but it's less of a bother to have to go back in and unlock it when you need it than it is for somebody to hack you. I got hacked 2 or 3 times by doctor's offices. Now, some of you might not know that I'm a retired certified fraud examiner. And so when I was a certified fraud examiner, I was, in our classes, in our continuing professional education, I was told that the number one way that people are hacked is from the inside of their, like, doctor's office, for example. And we had in our class several examples of young ladies being hired at the reception desk and taking your information. And what they were really doing is just gathering a whole bunch of information, because a lot of times these upscale doctors have upscale patients and they have lots of money and all this other stuff. So they were gathering this information and they maybe worked there for a month, and then they gather these people's information. And next thing you know, I gotten 3 letters saying, hey, our system was breached, and we're going to pay for your credit, blah, blah. I don't even worry about that. I literally pay a, a system once a month. It's like $10 a month to make sure that my credit is locked. And if something comes up, then it's flagged. Also, as a side note, somebody sent me some information about people that have homes losing their homes because people go in and change information, and it should not be that easy, but evidently it is. And then next thing you know, somebody else has purchased your home. So be careful of the scammers. I mean, I always say, they need to go get a job. They act like they're brilliant with all this stuff. And then somebody told me at the bank the other day that is their job. So let me go back to the chat. Hello, Ellis in Wonderland. That's okay. You're late. You're here. Is there a way to verify these hiring companies are legitimate? Now, that's a question, Bren. That's a question. So I would want to know the company. Like let's say, for the sake of argument, it's a recruiter and they're saying I'm recruiting for a job, blah blah blah. I immediately want to know what company. I immediately want to know their information. A lot of companies get third parties now because they don't want to be accused of any kind of discrimination, any kind. So they'll go and they'll say, okay, I'm hiring XYZ company and you all find me two workers that meet this criteria. So they do send recruiters. That is something that's normal. It wasn't when I was younger, but it's normal now. I don't know another way except for you knowing who the company is that's hiring and researching. Is this a legitimate company? I saw something online one time that said that Delta was hiring, and someone informed me that that was not true. It was an advertisement with someone else trying to get information, and it's a lot of that going on. So I think that one of the ways that people that I know are getting jobs is through LinkedIn. They're hooking up with people that they know from the past. For example, somebody that you went to, if you look up a company right now on LinkedIn, it's going to show you who works for that company that you know. So if one of your high school athletic, your team members and from high school, for example, and you want to work for Delta, and you're looking up Delta on LinkedIn. I don't know if Delta's on LinkedIn. I'm making this up. So if Delta's on LinkedIn, it's going to show you all of the people that have a LinkedIn account that put Delta as their employer. So you can say, oh, there's Sharice. She works for Delta. So you get in touch with her and say, hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. I'm looking at the fact that, Delta may have a couple of openings. You know anything about that kind of thing. So it's that kind of connection now. I just don't know. I don't know a way to tell the scammers because like I'm just finding out about this brand yesterday and I haven't really given it a lot of thought. But if I were looking for a job and I was kind of concerned, I would ask for that recruiter's contract, maybe with the company. If they're saying I'm a recruiter for, let's say, General Electric, just making up something, then I would want to see their contract with General Electric. Just let them know, hey, there's a lot of scammers out here. I need to make sure you're legitimate. So, what can you show me to show me that General Electric is really hiring? And maybe that'll work, maybe that won't. So let's see. Yes, yeah, freeze all your files. Okay, and someone, I think I missed one. What does it take to make a church? The IRS doesn't define a church. I think it would be dangerous for them to do that, and they think it would be dangerous, so they don't. But there are certain duties or certain functions that a church is expected to perform, and I forgot the name of them. Starts with an S, like something like sacerdotal or something like that. But it's like weddings, funerals, regular services, Bible study. That's four of them, and then there's some other ones that if you can prove that you're doing those, then they wouldn't be able to say that you're not a church. Is it better to start off as a corporation, then apply for 501c3 status? I would not incorporate a church, and I would not apply for 501c3 status because you put the government above God when you incorporate a church and when you file for 501c3 status. A church is automatically tax immune, which means that it's not subject to tax, regardless of whether you filed paperwork with the government or not. The people that give to the church still get to deduct their charitable giving, regardless of whether your name is in a book at the IRS saying that you're a, a, a nonprofit. Now, other organizations do have to sign up, but churches don't. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next story. Let's see, that was number 5. Okay, so the next one isn't a story, it's about this time of year. And I thought about when I passed by some store and all the beautiful decorations that they had out there and how much money people spend during the Christmas holiday. And I remember when I was in college, I think I was a senior in college. I had always had little jobs, but I was at school and I received a credit card when I was on campus. I remember it was $2,300 and it was Christmas time or thereabout. And I started charging stuff. The stuff that I charged was for family members and friends that had helped me throughout this 4 years of school. Someone had given me a refrigerator for my dorm, and of course, for my parents. So at some point or another, over a period of time, I charged up $2,300. Now, mind you, when I graduated, I had a job, but it took me a while to pay off that $2,300. And that was my lesson in going out and not practicing delayed gratification, like my dad said. I don't participate in this commercialized Christmas. That's not what it was about. Christ was not born in December, most likely. And I know that, we celebrate, even if that's not the birthday, we celebrate, but not with all of these gifts and stuff, with these trees. That's me. I don't have a tree. I don't have all that stuff. When I was younger, as an older adult, not in college anymore, I used to get Christmas cards. And everybody used to proclaim that I was broke because everybody was spending all this money on all these gifts for everybody and their cousins' kids and all that. But in January, I wasn't broke. I wasn't receiving a whole bunch of credit card bills for all the money that I spent in December. I did that one time. I did that in my senior year of college. I learned my lesson. So I would buy some gifts. I would go, I'm not a shopper. I would go to the mall with a list and cash of everything that I wanted to get everybody, maybe 7 people, my parents and a few more people. And if it wasn't at that mall, I would change the gift because whatever I was getting was coming out of that mall because I cannot stand shopping, especially during that time of year. But then after that, I was like, okay, well, I'll give everybody a Christmas card because the reason for the season is not all this flashy stuff. And the same people who were talking behind my back about me being broke and not getting Christmas gifts, the same ones that were trying to borrow mortgage money and card note money from me, you know, 10 years later, because I made sure that, I didn't do frivolous stuff with my money. What I'm saying to you all today is just to be careful. I'm not telling you not to go out and buy stuff. You might really be into that. You might be into decorating your house. And I love looking at the colors and stuff like that, decorations. Some people do that. I don't have a problem with that. Just make sure that you're spending money in a way that's not going to put you in debt, and the credit card bills come in the middle of January and it's going to take you all the way through June to pay them. Just make sure that's not happening, please. Please. Let's spend our money wisely. This year, if I get anything for anybody, it's more than likely going to be my parents and my grandchildren. That's about it. I don't go to parties that, exchange gifts. I remember when we used to do that. Okay, everybody get everybody something that's $25 or around that area. I remember that. And it's fine. It's good to get together, it's good to fellowship. But the system has made us guilty about not getting gifts. The system has made us think that we have to do these things and we don't. I have a mission, and my resources go towards my mission. And my mission isn't to buy a gift. My granddaughter, if you buy her a gift, she's gonna play with the box. She loves boxes. She's gonna play with the box. She might put the gift in the corner. She's gonna play with the box. So anyway, I'm gonna see what's in the chat before we go to the next one. Sounds like me back then, Discover card. Yeah, I think Discover cards are dangerous. I've never had one, but it seems like they have some really quirky stuff that goes on with them, the interest wise. Like it's high interest. I don't have a tree either. Yeah. My house isn't decorated. I welcome people. we'll talk about the reason for the season, but not about Santa Claus and the abominable snowman. Did you hear about the Pope is going to open 5 portals on Christmas Eve? What's up with that? Portals. That sounds interesting. I'll have to look that up. When you all tell me stuff like that, I'm really interested. Like I did look up whoever told me last time about some AI Jesus over in Europe. I looked it up, and yes, they're praying. They're going in this little booth like the Catholic booth, and they're praying to an AI Jesus. And I said, oh my goodness. Okay. Pope and satanic portals. Yes, I'm going to look that up. Thank you. I'm going to look that up. Okay. Could you put the information in the chat? Okay. And I think, what information do you want put in the chat? And I'm not sure, Tisha Mack, I'm not sure what information about the portal. Oh, whoever's saying that. Oh, who brought it up? Oh, Crypto Yo. So Crypto Yo is saying Google it. Yeah, that would be the best thing. And just to make you guys aware, if you go out on Google and look something up and put the same wording is in there as I put and somebody else puts, different things will come up based on our backgrounds. So I've been, doing a lot of looking at. I went through a cybersecurity class yesterday about how they go after us and how they program us with what they put in front of us. So like Brave is my what do you call it? I don't use Google, I use Brave. I have 2 computers. Their default is Brave, and my phone has a default is Brave because browser. Thank you. See, so my browser. Thank you, Crypto Yo. My browser is Brave on my phone and on my computers because I don't. It's hard to preserve any semblance of privacy, but I'm going to do the best I can because I don't want somebody knowing everything that I look up, whether it be good or bad. We want to have a semblance of privacy. They sure want it, but they don't want us to have it. And people like Zuckerberg and all of those have trashed our privacy over the years and manipulated elections in other countries and just all kind of stuff. Okay. You can get free crypto using the Brave browser. I need to check that out. I've been using Brave for over a year. Okay, in the next story, which is going to be the last thing that I'm talking about, remember first of all, before I go to that, how many of you get notifications? This morning when I got up, I fell asleep. I meant to do it last night. This morning when I got up, I posted in the comment section of my YouTube channel, and I went out on my my email list to say that I was coming on tonight because I missed Tuesday night. And I also uploaded this into YouTube, basically saying that I would be on at 8:00 at night. How many of you get notifications when I put up that I'm going to be on at night? Put a 1 in the chat, please. I need to know whether this is working because I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. I'm getting ready to take a class to make sure that my content on my recorded videos is good. Okay, so some of you are getting notifications. So this class is, and guess what I did? You all would not believe what I did last night. Oh my gosh. Whew, I opened up a TikTok account because I'm going to start putting stuff on TikTok. My marketing people are telling me, I know you don't like TikTok, but it's popular now. So get a TikTok account. So I'm going to learn how to, put shorts on there, maybe the ones that I have from YouTube now, and then make shorts and, spend more time trying to get out there more. I'm kind of more of a homebody, but I'm trying to get out there more. Yeah, I'm even getting out of the house more, you all. This is so funny. So I'm also subscribed to you and I get emails, or rather email updates. Good. So they are coming out on a subscription. So it's like 4,000 people that get that notice that I'm getting ready. They get an email saying that I'm going to do a live, and I try to tell what it's about. But then I also want to make sure that when people go into YouTube, like maybe if they go into YouTube at 11 o'clock in the daytime, it pops up that I'm going to have a live. So that's good. Cheryl says, "Good for you." I'm nervous about the TikTok. Anyway. I'm going to use it to benefit other people with the finances. So the last thing that we're going to talk about, I said that I was going to highlight a home-based business, and I want to start doing this on a regular basis because I don't want to assume that people know a whole lot about home-based businesses. My presupposition is that everybody that has a job should also have a home-based business. We cannot depend on other people to make sure that our lives are happy, secure, that we have resources. We can't depend on other people. It's great that if you have a job and you're getting the resources, like dad says, beating the drum, that drum hits every week or every other week or once a month, whatever. But learn a skill, start a business on the side, and then that extra money you can start to invest and grow. I know a lot of wealthy people. I know some, people that are on their way to being wealthy. And the thing that they have in common is, first of all, they don't spend a lot of time doing stuff that's not profitable for their family. They don't spend a lot of time with television and things like that. They'll use social media as an educational tool, and they spend their time. You do relax, and some of them play a little sports every once in a while, but they make sure that their focus is legacy. They make sure that their focus is, hey, it's getting ready to be 2025. I want to make sure that I'm not caught up in something that happens where the job is gone. If the job is gone, yeah, I'll go look for another one, or I won't. Because if my home-based business is up and running well, then I won't have to go get another job. If I'm just starting out with my home-based business and I don't have the resources yet, I'll look for a job. But during that time I'm not looking, I'm building my business. So that's what we want. So let's see, I'm going to go back to the chat before I talk about the business that I selected. Okay, community tab. So the business that the thing that I thought about this time of year, and I've done it several times, of course, I want you to select a business that you get 100% of the income. Some people select like network marketing or multi-level marketing, and that's fine if you can't think of anything else or you can't think of a skill that you have. And my issue with network marketing or multi-level marketing for, something that is your main business. I mean, I can see you doing something like that on the side, but you're getting a percentage of a percentage. Let's say if you're selling a product that is $100, let's make it simple. But you're part of a downline and you're only getting 15% of that sale. So the company made $100. They gave the person above you let's say they kept 50 and they distributed the rest of it, and you got $15. The same amount of effort that it took you to sell someone that $100 product and you get $15, you can use that same amount of energy to do something yourself, create something yourself, and get the whole $100. That's what I want you to do. How about preschool? Um, it is a business. I know people that have, yeah, my children never graced the halls of a government school. They went to home homes when they were younger. So ladies that had home care and they had up to 6 children in the house. I like that. If you want to do that, that's fine, but it's not scalable. So in scaling a preschool, something like that, you got to have a whole bunch of employees and stuff, rules and regulations from the state. It's just too much stress. It's not really even it's a home-based business if you're doing it at home, but I know that I've dealt in that arena from the financial standpoint. And you've got to make sure that you're up to code on your electric, your plumbing. You got to make sure your stairs are okay. It's just a lot of work. And once you get through it, maybe one time, then you're taking people's children into your home. And like I told you guys, this is the United States of America. If a kid runs into the wall and gets a scratch, then the parent wants to sue. It's just too much risk in something like that for me. How do you feel about selling online courses? That's the best. So let me go on and talk about that in this vein, Crypto Yo. I was going to talk about writing a book. And so it's not that much different from writing courses. You create something one time and you sell it hundreds of thousands or millions of times. To me, that's one of the easiest ways to make money. I've written what, 8, 9 books, and they sell on my website. As I stated before to some of you, I used to sell them on Amazon. I thought that was the best thing. I did sell a lot of books on Amazon, but then, one of my mentors said, "Hey, it's two bad things about that. Number one, they take half the money, which they were taking almost half the money from each sale. The second thing, which is even worse, is they were taking my gold. Everybody that bought a book between 2015 and 2023, I sold a lot of books during those years. I don't have their names, addresses, email numbers, or phone numbers. That's gold right there. I lost. I don't have their contact information. Amazon has it. So if I was to do a live event in Dallas, Texas, all those people over the years that bought that book on Amazon, I wouldn't be able to contact them and say, "Hey, I'm coming to Dallas to do a live event." So your email list, your subscriber list is gold. And I wasn't getting these people as subscribers. So although I may not be selling as many books, now everybody has to buy the books on my website or my link so that I can inform people about stuff. I do put a one in the chat for me, guys. If you think that I should start doing live events again. I really loved it when I was doing that. The issue a lot of times was I would have somebody say, "Hey, come to blank city," and I've got a group, and we've got 40 people in our group, and if you put together an event, then I'll have the people come out, and I would put together an event and pay for my plane ticket and all that, and only the people that I invited would show up. And then the person wouldn't show up, and then the person wouldn't even call, and a couple of weeks later they would call and say, "Well, hey, how did that event go?" They didn't have any skin in the game, and they did, so yeah, I would love to do that. It's just got to be done in a way that it's not going to tax me to the point where I'm running all over the country with having 2 to 5 people in the room. I'll work on that for 2025 because I do love events. I mean, I don't like sitting here. Yeah, I don't really like Zooms because people put you they'll turn off their microphone, and they'll turn off their camera, and they could be reading the paper, they could be washing the dog, they could be doing dishes, and you're not really getting the information. So let's go back to writing a book. It's really not that hard. Everybody has a story, some kind of story. You have to get with people to figure out whether your story is something that people will read. For example, when I first got home from prison, I had written 4 books shortly thereafter. And, I had the books for sale and all that stuff like that. And they were selling, but then I went to a financial conference, and Lance Warnow was there. How many of you familiar with Lance? Lance told me, that's fine. You got a story, but nobody wanted to listen to that story. You have a financial background. You need to start writing financial books. Boom. So then I stopped, writing anything that was, related to myself. And there were the financial books, How to Stick It to the IRS. My first one was called how to Basic Financial Survival. It was the very first one, and it was a book and a workbook together. How to survive and then thrive in any economy, or something like that. And then How to Stick It to the Iris, How to Escape the Rat Race, Church Wealth, Ministry Health. And the new one that I have that came out this year, That's the one that's co-authored with Dr. Myron Golden, which is Increase Your Income and Reduce Your Taxes. But for every book, after all the expenses of getting the publication and all that stuff together, let's say that's $3,000. After you pay the $3,000 back, all of the rest of it is resources, and you do get paid like every day. It's you're open every day. You get paid every day. Every day somebody's buying one of those books. A lot of times they buy all three of the books. So writing a book, and let's move over to writing a course, because that's what crypto you'll ask about. Writing a course. I took a course on writing a course. And I think a lot of times we make it too complicated. It's just outline what you want to teach. I want to teach people how to keep, protect, and grow what they earn. And yes, I did write a course. I am probably going to get somebody to help me do the video part of it, but I have a whole bunch of lessons on keeping what you earn. One of those lessons, one of the things within that lesson is, don't go berserk at Christmas, which is what we talked about. I have a whole section on protecting what you earn from the IRS and other predators. And I have a whole section in this course on growing what you earn. And it will be an online course, and it'll be an on demand course, which means that you'll be able to purchase this course and look at it anytime. Let's say if you selected 3 o'clock in the morning to go online and go through these lessons. So you complete a lesson and then you click complete and it'll go to the next one. I may or may not do certificates at the end, but I'm going to have office hours. So if people doesn't if you or anybody doesn't understand something, then twice a month I'm going to have like a 2-hour window, maybe on a Thursday evening, where anybody can come on Zoom and ask questions about the course. Anybody that purchased the course. So that's the model that I've selected. I'm super busy with stuff. Of course, you all know that, but I'm going to get that course done. I have 6 courses. I do have a course that I've started on writing a book. I do have another course on how to get a business up and running in 30 days. All these things are what I want to do, because I like being live and doing events, but I also like the fact that if I create something one time, I can sell it online all day, every day. So think about that. Think about what you can write a course about. If you're a nurse, and depending on what kind of nurse you are, you can talk about something that's health related. You don't want to talk about anything that is something that you can only talk about if you're licensed. But for example, I had a lady that was a nurse and she dealt with dietary stuff. So she can write a course on how to lose weight and keep it off, or something like that. People are going to go for that. The things that are selling are financial things and health things. So health related courses are selling, financial related courses are selling. In the health arena, they're trying to delete us with all of this food and these seed oils and all this other stuff, and people are way, way, way overweight. And a lot of times people are looking for like this magic pill to take to lose weight, but it's more than that. So some of the people are out there selling a whole bunch of magic pills that don't work, and they're making money. But there are other people who are teaching people how to eat correctly, and they're also making money. So either way you can make money on that. With the finances, people that are trying like me to teach people how to keep, protect, and grow their money, and people that are teaching people how to make money, like maybe how to trade and how to do the forex trading and stuff like that. So if you have an idea about a course that you want to create to sell on your own website, write it out. I think it will be a good idea. So I'm going to go back to the chat and see what we have. I thought becoming a home-based virtual assistant with more than 25 years administrative support would yield me much work after being forced into retirement, but that has not been the case. Okay, so I think when I think about that, Maggie, I'm thinking about you are trying to help other people. So who is this avatar? Who are these people that you're trying to help? Okay, you're a virtual assistant for who? To me, when I think about that, it's two kinds of people out there. People like me that are super busy. We need the help, but we can't even stay still enough to, tell you what to do. And then you have those people who are already made it and they have a staff already. So you're trying to find people that are in between. What would I do if I had all this administrative experience? I would actually write some courses maybe for somebody like me, how to manage your business on a daily basis, or find some wealthy people that need an assistant. Like one of my associates has hired somebody to go in every day and clean out his email because he gets over 1,000 emails a day. So he's taught this person what to delete. So by the time he gets to his computer, there's not 1,000 of them. There may be 50 of them. Find a niche in there for yourself, and find somebody that needs that kind of help. Administratively, there are a lot of people that don't know how to, do certain things online. They don't know how to keep files. List out, Maggie, list out your skills, and then figure out who these people are that need each individual skill, and collectively, who are these people? Where do you find them? How much money are they making right now? Are they going to make enough to pay you? My mentor he tells us in our classes to go out and find out what the people need. Don't try to frame your business around what you already know. So let's say, for the sake of argument, and this is a crazy example, but somebody get on there and says, okay, well, I'm an archaeologist and I want to teach people how to maybe go out in their backyard and look at the leaves and see how old the tree is, or find out how old the trees in their backyard are without cutting them. That's what you want to do. That might be, part of your degree, but people don't want that. Go into the marketplace and find out what people need and want. Specifically what they want. A lot of people buy based on what they want and not what they need. And I talked about that. You have anything on bookkeeping in a business? That's a good one. You can have your home-based business as a bookkeeper. You'd have to go out and find companies that maybe small, that can't afford to or don't want to hire a full-time bookkeeper. And you go out and get some software like maybe QuickBooks, or there's some others, and you can do that. You just have to know that you can't scale that business because you can only take on a certain amount of bookkeeping clients. So let's say, for the sake of argument, if it's you, and you can't take on 20 bookkeeping clients, you drive yourself nuts. I remember when I used to do bookkeeping, I had maybe 4, and that was bad enough, because I was supposed to do their monthly financials, and let's say right now it's December 12th, I still wouldn't have them. It's like, where are your financials from November? And then at the end of the year, in January, they want everything. They gave it to you on January 1st. And by January 5th, they're screaming, where are my financials? No, you just gave me this stuff. And all of y'all, so you want to pick a business that's not going to cause you that kind of stress, and something that you'll be able to scale. When I say scale, I mean build up. So if there's only one of you, there's only so many bookkeeping clients that you can take on. So Maggie, what about going to some of the school systems or colleges and offering them courses for their educators, or going to get, like a B2B, business to business. And you could do it two ways. You could find people that are in higher education, like you could find professors and stuff that need your service one-on-one, or you could actually go to schools and see if you can help the school help themselves and their educator employees by teaching them how to be more efficient. You're welcome, Maggie. I'm looking into bookkeeping. We have our own trucking business and would rather keep my books in a proper manner. Well, why don't you look into bookkeeping and helping truckers keep their books? I've had some trucker clients and they don't keep their books. Those receipts are all over the place. So that would be a good one right there. Just putting yourself out there as a bookkeeper for truckers. And there are a lot of them out there. And then you can go to these associations to advertise. So when you come up with businesses, write it down, brainstorm. I right here, I have a whiteboard. And at the top it says plan, lead, thrive. And it has all of these things that I'm supposed to be doing. And it's a dry erase. So when I accomplish it, I erase that, put more stuff up there. You're quite welcome. Tisha Mac. Okay, so it is 9:09, and I have a friend that requested for her birthday party tomorrow that I make a banana pudding. And I'm getting ready to go up there and do the pudding for the banana pudding, and probably maybe go into that TikTok account again that I got caught up in yesterday because I didn't know what I was doing, and try to see how to integrate some of my YouTube shorts into TikTok. So I want to be back with this really, really serious story on Tuesday concerning what happened to us in 2020 and 21 and why. It's a very serious story. Until next week, I will see you. And what I'm going to do is between now and then, I'm going to try to upload the intro and the outro to my channel. So I'm going to, just in a second here, when I go off, I'm going to put the intro to my channel. I'm going to put it up. It's very short. And then in the comment section, I want to find out from you guys whether you like it or not. So jack of all trades. No, I just think critically. And when you tell me something, I put myself in your shoes and figure out what I would want to do. So it's not like I know, it's not like I know all these things. It's like I just think about them. I think, what would I do in your case? That's what I do. You're welcome. Okay, I'm going to do it now. Let's see if I can make this intro come up. Let's go back over, see if I can play it. Okay, hope you all like that. I think I'm going to tweak it a little bit more, but it's an attention grabber. It's like the stressful life, and you're in this rat race, and then you just you get away, and that's what I want to do. Pretty soon, I want to be regularly doing my lives from Costa Rica when I go. I did get Elon Musk Starlink, so that what happened to me last July won't happen anymore, where I was trying to stream and the little internet that they had wasn't working. So everybody have a great weekend, and I will prayerfully be back on Tuesday with that serious story. Have a great one.